This is it right here, Bastion. This is the song where the white girl has the main character syndrome when she's out raving with her friends. This is it right here. That little break, that little riff in that rave section. Yeah, this is the track for it.
Or it could be like a 1990s one of those tech movies with the hacker scene and just walking through the club just so he could deliver something, or running away from somebody. That's what I got from this listening to it when I sent it to you.
In the beginning of the song, I'm not gonna lie, I thought of Batman first, or the Batman.
I was thinking some Matrix type vibe, you know. This is where he goes to the party to follow the girl with the bunny, you know.
I can see that too. Oh, definitely.
Follow the rabbit down the hole, right? That was Wonderland.
That was Wonderland. Man. Well, it's been a week since we've been here, and in case you don't know, in case you forgot while you're listening to this live, this is Black Seinfeld. This is the show about nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It is me, Giovanni Anglin, have many aliases: Trinidadi, Panamanian Poppy, Rude Boy, Top Gunna, Sakpanyamada. Hi everyone, welcome back.
Yo, what's going on? It's Bash Nissa, your Queens native, but recording live in LA while Gio is in Brooklyn, New York. What is going on, folks? Back with another episode of Black Seinfeld, where you can find our stuff on all social media platforms, Black Seinfeld NY, on Twitter and Instagram. And we're also on YouTube, so just type in Black Seinfeld. You'll see our previous older videos. I'm trying to upload our stuff for this year in a different video format, so that could be another archive. Or you could check out our other archive on any type of podcast, there's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, pretty much all these other third-party podcasts that put ads in between stuff while you're trying to go to the next page. Anyways, they work as well. Just type in Black Space Seinfeld. And if you have any information for us, you want to talk to us, please email us at blackseinfeldny@gmail.com. And we also have our own website, blackseinfeld.com. Gio, what's good?
Wait, hold on. What are some of the ads they put in between our stuff?
No, it's not our stuff. It's just like the regular third-party application stuff where if you're trying to click to the next page or you want to go back, they just put like a Facebook ad or a video game ad and stuff. It's all third-party nonsense ads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like if you're trying to download the game. That's why I have two phones, people. One's a work phone, one's a personal phone. My work phone is an iPhone, and there's some cool iPhone games on there. But I have to play the games on airplane mode because every time I beat a level, maybe I beat 2 levels of a small game, boom, ad.
That's
20
true.
seconds.
A lot of those free-to-play games as well. That's how they make their money.
Yeah, airplane mode. It's not my main phone, so I'm not expecting any calls because I'm not working at the moment. So I'm good.
How do you feel knowing that the iPod is no longer going to be here now? Apple is discontinuing the iPod after 20 years. Since 2001, the iPod has been bestowed upon the American lexicon, and 20 years later, it's over. Or 21 years later, it's over.
So growing up as a music kid that loved music, I asked my parents for an iPod because my cousin had one, right? We're talking about the white one with the wheel. I think it'd do roughly 40 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes at the time. And that was a lot at the time too. And like where I'm going to find these songs anyways, I'm downloading singles, not albums. And I never got one. Years later in 2009, when I bought my first MacBook because I had my first job, it came with a rebate, of course, which they don't do that anymore. It came with a free iPod Touch. I think it was the second edition.
The second gen, yeah.
So the iPod Touch 2, and I loved it because I didn't have a phone back then. I probably had like one of those Nokias when it got worse because it was good at one point in time, like 2007. It got worse by 2010, and that was when I entered the world of iPods, and I loved it. I think I had the 16 gigabytes, not enough for me at that time, but it's good enough to if I wanted to go, wow, I have like maybe I had to choose like a good maybe 30 albums for me to rock with per month. So yeah, that's my story in terms of iPods. I did cop the iPod Classic before it discontinued back in 2014, only so I could sell it 2 years later because I ended up getting like a really, really good smartphone. And I was like, no, streaming services were invented. I got Apple Music and say, I'm not using this iPod anymore. Let me flip it.
Yeah, it's not needed.
That's the story for me for iPods. I love it. It was great, but streaming killed it.
Streaming definitely did kill it. And I will say, since you brought up the the fact that you didn't have a phone but you got an iPod Touch. The iPod Touch being used as a phone substitute was a sick era.
That was nasty.
That was disgusting.
You gotta text me through my iCloud account.
That's right. That is right. You sicko.
It was, and it wasn't in the beginning. It was later on. Maybe 2 years after I caught mine. That's when you were able to actually text people through there.
Right. And actually even make some phone calls through third party apps.
That's how I was able to talk to people through my computer too, because they were connected at one point in time.
Right.
But that iPod was stolen.
Damn.
Later, hood stuff.
Of course. That was when people were robbing people for iPods and iPhones. What an era now. And Apple was like, no, we're going to just have everyone have one. So that way that doesn't really happen anymore. And now look at us now. No one gets robbed for phones anymore.
Yeah. If anything, now when we look at people and see what phone they have, we kind of judge them, right? If I see someone with an iPhone 8, like, it's a little bit old for that. Maybe an iPhone 6. You ever seen someone with an iPhone 5? You're just wondering what they're doing.
I've never seen anyone recently with an iPhone 5S, 5C. I have not seen that yet.
When I ask someone about that, it's always the same answer. My actual phone broke, and I'm just using this until I replace it. So that's why people have the backups. I don't have any of my old iPhones. I threw out my 6 because it got destroyed, and I traded in my 5, if I remember.
I still have my 6S, and I have my 5C. The 6S is done because the screen is all cracked. It's really bad. It's in bad shape, but I still have it. Just for sentimental value and just because old things are on it that I can always go back to and look at. The 5C, it's still there. It's just the fact that it doesn't accept the new chargers. So that sucks. But it's still there. It's the blue 5C. That one is one of my favorites because it was my first iPhone back in 2014, and I felt special because I finally felt like, okay, I'm finally in now, okay? I will no longer be ridiculed on my phone any longer because early 2010s, smartphones was still being implemented in society because you still had the BlackBerry a little bit and people still had weird phones, but the iPhone was there, but not everyone can get an iPhone. But if you did get an iPhone, you better hide it because, again, it'd get robbed or stolen or all that stuff.
The funny thing, before we move on from this subject, the funny thing about phones is they were very large, and then they were designed to be very small, and now we're going backwards to very large because people want wider screens.
Yes.
It's just second computer. But, and speaking of, moving from old product to new product, you recently updated one of your main products.
That's right, Bastion.
Finally got his MacBook Pro, the M1 Pro chip?
Yes, the M1 Pro chip, the 14-inch MacBook Pro, 1 terabyte worth of storage. I'm really happy it came. I felt like a kid at the candy store. It's been 10 years, people, because my MacBook Pro was a 2012, and I was using it all throughout college, and it started breaking down as it does. What 10 years was good, but now
I'm pushing.
Yeah, that's right. It was pushing, man. It felt like an old car. Okay, it got me from point A to point B, but it was lagging behind, but it was still my baby. I was still sentimental to me. Had all my stickers on it. It had a Brooklyn Gin label on it too, like from the actual Brooklyn Gin bottle itself. I remember Chef Jonah, he scraped it off the bottle, and it's like this like bronze coin, huge coin. And I slapped that in the middle of
3D printed.
Yeah.
To describe it to the listeners.
Yeah.
It looks like a 3D printed coin.
Exactly. Yeah. And I slapped it right on the Apple logo. So, I still have it. It's still there. I don't know if I'll get rid of it. I just want it for sentimental value because my new MacBook, it looks clean, it looks pristine, and man, I'm using my finger to open up the MacBook now. It's different. It's different. The speed is crazy. And of course, the M1 chip allows a lot of content creators the the speed that they need in order to render different things a lot quicker than they would if they had a desktop. So I'm excited to finally use it now because I haven't used it yet. I haven't done anything yet on my MacBook. Honestly, like I've just been customizing it to my liking. That's it. And I've been finally looking back into just the Black Seinfeld analytics. I've started to realize that, hey, a lot of our podcast listeners come from Apple Podcasts. That was different. I didn't know that, but shoot, our third party where we distribute all of our podcasting stuff from, Podomatic, they're like, yeah, everyone uses Apple Podcasts. I'm like, oh, okay. So shout out to everyone on Apple Podcasts tuning in right now. We appreciate y'all. And if you don't want to use Apple Podcasts, it's okay. You can use other platforms like Spotify and Audible and Pandora. That's right. We are on Pandora too. And Podbean and Stitcher Radio.
Kind of nasty if you're using Pandora still.
Why? Don't do that. I know a lot of people, believe it or not, Bastion, they still use Pandora, believe it or not.
Do they work in a service type business?
No, they just work. They're just clients of mine that happen to use Pandora.
That's nasty. That's all I gotta say. It for its time, when I was listening to it a lot back in 2009, it was very helpful for making me listen to music that I should know, and it's just like, points me in the right direction. You listen to the Biggie radio station, and you're listening to everybody from that era.
Oh,
sounds
of course.
Cool.
It's like first Biggie, and then the second person you're probably gonna listen to after that is like Jay-Z.
No. Even like there's people from that era particularly.
Okay.
Straight from the 90s. That's when I found out about Bone Thugs and Harmony, like really knowing them. Besides First of the Month, it's like listen to other stuff. So like I said, Pandora was very helpful for the time. But I think YouTube algorithm or like any musical service, I think Apple Music algorithm was pretty good when I used it at the time. Tidal's pretty mediocre in my opinion. But yeah.
When I was heavy into Xbox gaming back in the 360 days, I remember instead of Pandora, they had, I don't know if you know this, Last FM.
Yeah, I know Last FM. I used to use it religiously for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Not to listen to music though, just to record what I was doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you actually go to my Last FM, which is on Bastion, you actually could see my 2014, 2015, and how much I scrabble, if that's the terminology. And it's like, yeah, it was so precise. So I knew like what song and what albums I was obsessed with, but I stopped doing that. I don't care anymore. I'm an adult.
That's how we know.
To listen to music.
That's how we know we're getting older. It's like, it's not that I don't have enough time to listen to music, because I do, because I take the train everywhere still. So I have a lot of time to listen to music, and when I get home, that's the first thing I do. I just turn on my Xbox and just go on Spotify. It's just, I don't care anymore about like people's opinions like that anymore. It's like I'll value what the perspective is on certain things, but like at the end of the day, I don't care anymore. I don't take it to heart like I would 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Gotcha. And just so the listeners should know, like last week we didn't have an episode.
Yeah.
Gio, what were you doing last week?
Bro, last week there's a lot of stuff that happened last week for me personally, and just fun wise, man. I was having some fun, okay? While Mercury apparently is retrograding, I couldn't tell because, damn it, I've been having fun for these past 2 weeks. Starting off with last week, Wednesday, I went to my first ever wrestling event in 12 years. The last time I went was 2010. And I went to AEW, which is the alternative wrestling promotion to WWE. There's certain WWE previous wrestlers that now wrestle in AEW, like Jeff Hardy. Got to see Jeff Hardy live. CM Punk, that was fun. FTR, I got to see Sting, the icon Sting. I got to see, of course, all of the AEW stars like Darby Allin and MJF and Wardlow. And I gotta tell you, being that this is the first wrestling event I've been to in the past decade, I had a lot of fun. And generally, whenever you go to those live events, you're always gonna have a good time because you're amongst your people. You know, you're amongst people that that like professional wrestling, that dig professional wrestling, that knows the ins and the outs of the storylines. And so it's easy to get into the chants and just getting to the matches as well, because once the crowd is energetic, you're lively. And I remember it started at around 7 o'clock and it didn't end until midnight, because it was like 5 hours worth of wrestling, because they did some pre-tapes first, and then it was the actual live event, which was on television. And then after the live event, it was more pre-tapes. And then after the pre-tapes, it was like a special thing that they did for us, where some stars came out and they interacted with each other. And it was great. I had a really fun time.
Interesting. I didn't know. What do you mean, like recordings?
So AEW, they have a live show called AEW Dynamite, which airs on Wednesday, right, from 8 to 10. But prior to that, they have other shows that they air, but they don't air it live. So they pre-tape it and then they air it on another day. So for example, the next show that they have is called AEW Rampage. So right after Dynamite is done and they're off air, they start changing up the ring sets and all that stuff, and then they get into AEW Rampage. And so they pre-record everything so they can air it for Friday. But we in the audience, we're pretending that it's Friday, although we know damn well it's Wednesday, and we just saw Dynamite. So it's weird that way. And then they have another show, which was the pre-show. It's called AEW Dark, and it's basically like some of the lesser-known talent. They're not big enough to be on television, so they actually have like a YouTube channel where they present AEW Dark. So before Dynamite even started at 8, at like 7 o'clock, it was AEW Dark. And they normally air that on a Tuesday. So like basically, technically yesterday for you, because it's still Wednesday over there. So yesterday they aired what we saw last week Wednesday on Tuesday, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. Now I have a better understanding that if you look in the audience, you might see the same people.
Yes, that's exactly why.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And what happens is the announcer and Tony Khan, who's the owner of the company, like he'll come out, he'll thank everyone, and he's like, okay, so we're gonna be recording for this show. Everyone just pretend like it's Tuesday or pretend like it's Friday, although we all know it's Wednesday. So
that's lit. That's kind of cool. It's kind of fun, like the audience participating and being this. I guess that allows the audience to actually be a wrestler in a way, because you're also the entertainment.
Yes,
you're the crowd.
Yes,
so you're cheering. And how long was the event? You say 5 hours?
It was like a good 5 hours, man. But wow. I had so much fun because of the electricity in the air of the crowd, man. It really helps, too. It really does help. And, of course, I took my bathroom breaks because I was drinking a lot of beer. What? I was drinking a hell of beer. Oh, we got to do the what chants. It was fun.
Oh, what's that?
What?
Oh, okay.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah, just that. We got to do that. It was fun. It was fun.
So when did you like end up watching it on TV or try to like to skim through it when it aired?
Nah, I didn't watch it on TV because I know what happened. So I'm like, nah, I was there. I don't need to see what happened. I was there. I got to witness it. I know exactly what happened. I know what was going on. I don't need to watch it. I don't need to watch it again.
Interesting.
But
I usually, from what I remember from the tennis event, when I watched it and I go home the next day, they kind of do like a replay of it. So I always try to watch like a few minutes. So it's like, oh, wow, I was there. I saw this perspective. I'm looking and it's like, oh, this is how everybody else saw it.
Yeah, that is the thing. Looking at the ring live, it looks a lot smaller in person. But, of course, with the cameraman and stuff, it looks a lot bigger from watching it at home. But also, here's the main thing too. The main issue is you don't get to hear what the commentators say live, okay? Because they have a headset and they basically do what we do, and that feed is going out to television, to America basically. And so maybe that's one thing I kind of regret not going back and watching, is to go ahead and see like what the commentators were saying the whole time. I mean, of course they play clips and stuff. They show us clips on their YouTube and their Instagram, but I didn't see the full show, so I don't know what the commentators said about everything. but I can tell you the way that we reacted to certain things was different from what the commentators were saying. So that was pretty interesting, because the biggest bad guy in that company right now is a guy named MJF, right? Maxwell Jacob Friedman. But however, he's from Long Island, right? And so since we were at the UBS Arena in Long Island, he was the biggest good guy there, because, you know, that's the hometown guy right there. So everyone was cheering the hell out of MJF, but everyone on commentary was like, look at MJF trying to eat this up. We all know that he doesn't give a damn about Long Island. He would leave Long Island in an instant. He would leave them in a heartbeat and just take the money and go. Meanwhile, we didn't hear any of that in the crowd. We were just cheering the hell out of MJF and booing CM Punk's ass, because that was funny, because CM Punk portrayed himself to be a bad guy because people in Long Island don't really like him like that.
Interesting. And you said something. You went to UBS Stadium, which is like literally 10 minutes from my house in New York.
So technically, it's not even Long Island then.
No, it's Long Island, because once you cross there, it's literally Long Island. It's Long Island. I promise you that.
So you live like between Queens and Long Island then?
Yeah, I kept telling you that. People don't understand unless they live in Queens. I live closer to Long Island than I do the actual city. And that's why I used to as a younger person, I didn't really care going to Manhattan. But as I got older, it's like, no, I'm not going to Manhattan. It's mad far. So.
We keep saying you're from Hollis, so I just assume Run DMC and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's still Queens, but just like. The thing about the culture of Long Island is most likely Caribbean people that kind of made like a little bit over minimum wage, or were able to save up and afford a house in Long Island, and they kind of just moved there. So sometimes they're not even that far to where they moved from.
True. So you just kept taking the bus to college, because like if you live 10 minutes away from the UBS Arena, like I would have just hopped on the LIRR.
Oh no, the Q110. No, I won't do that. The Q110 or Q2 drops me in Jamaica depending on how much I want to walk. So yeah. Okay. And also it's like literally 1 minute down any one of my blocks. You could do either Q2 or Q110. So yeah, I never took the LIRR, by the way.
Really?
Never took it once.
Never once?
I had no reason to. I always took the E or the F.
Man,
I've always lived in front of like a train or a bus. So
true. I mean, same here. I've always lived in front of, mainly train systems my whole life.
Yeah, you're in Brooklyn.
Right. But also, if I wanted like a quiet experience, I took the LIRR a couple of times to go to college, because there's like the Q train and then get off at Atlantic Avenue, and I could just take the LIRR straight to Jamaica.
Yeah, never that. The thing about the UBS stadium, it just opened like maybe 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's recently new, and it's pretty interesting because I remember talking to people in the neighborhood, and I think most of them, I'm talking about like Jamaica Queens part, I think most of them thought that it will be able to bring business and traffic to that side of the area. And like I said, it's 10-minute walk. 10-minute walk, you're on Jamaica immediately.
Yeah.
But if you keep walking down for where UBS is, you're pretty much in another street of other food and clothes and other type of stuff. So the thing is, like, while it did bring traffic, it didn't bring it towards the Jamaica direction. It stayed in Long Island.
Of course, it's freaking hockey.
So yeah, that's what I was trying to tell people too. But they do have like other shows.
Yeah.
I forgot. I think Kendrick Lamar. We just saw the Kendrick Lamar tour date, and he is performing at UBS. And it's like, oh, that'd be really cool. Just walking to a concert and walking home after. That'd be tight.
It's gonna be a lot cheaper over there too than Barclays. Tell you that much.
Oh yeah, it's brand new. They want people to know about UBS.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's for you New Yorkers out there. UBS is it's pretty nice. I think it's beautiful.
It is sick, dude. It is really nice. It's really nice inside.
Okay. It's beautiful from the outside.
Yes.
Beautiful colors.
Right by Belmont Park.
So
you can smell all the horses.
That's where the track race is. They built it on their, if I recall, the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's what my barber told me. So shout out to him.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I didn't know it was that new because everything did look really brand
Every
new.
time I come from like Brooklyn, I always pass there. So like I've been seeing it like getting ready to open.
Oh, interesting.
Like every week. So
you know what's crazy? Because that's how it was in Brooklyn when Barclays was being made. Because prior to Barclays, I don't know if you know this, it was just an empty like lot. It was like an empty gap. That's where all the crackheads used to be. And now, you know, I remember every day for the past couple years, like just seeing that thing being made, and then Jay-Z making the announcement of the 4-day concert to open up and bring in the Barclays Center. So that's wild. And now it's 10 years old. Look how much time flies.
Interesting. So that's probably your perspective on it, because I always thought Barclays was created in the day because I would never seen it.
That's fair.
I'm not from Brooklyn, so I'm never out there on Atlantic.
I get it.
So like, but I'm right here, so I've seen that getting built for years, and now it's finally open. And I thought, wow, I guess one day I'll be able to, you know, check it out. They did hit me up a couple times on LinkedIn for some job stuff.
Oh, nice.
Because I think they saw it was local. I think I put in like Queens Village on my LinkedIn at one point in time. So
what did they want you to do? Tell me they didn't want you to be like server or like ticket guy.
No, what they had, and I don't really care. I don't work at UVS, but they have a lot of job fairs.
You're not even here in New York.
I know, but just like, you know, revealing what they've been doing.
Right.
They have a lot of job fairs, and within these job fairs is more of these kind of, we'll call you if we hire you, or we might just instantly hire you because we need a lot of staff immediately. So in the job fair, they'll say, bring your social security.
Got you.
Because they'll kind of run your digits immediately on the spot. So you say, all right, you know, work next week. Here's your training schedule. You know, I'm bringing you for Sunday.
By the way,
got a car.
By the way, if someone does that to you, if they hire you right on the spot, I look at that as a red flag. Immediately.
I don't look at it as a red flag.
Oh, I do.
I do think you don't know the experience of what the management has went through in terms of they could be qualifying, talking to unqualified people for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they meet someone very qualified like you, they'll just hire you on the spot. Because hiring someone is a lot of money. It costs money. Yeah. So I don't see it as the red flag unless it's like something sketchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I look at it as, oh, why are you so eager to hire me? It's like, wait, are y'all that short staff? Like, what happened to the staff? I want to know what happened to the staff. Did everyone leave for some reason? Because I'm experiencing that now. I ain't gonna lie, dog.
Yeah, I get it. Nah, I believe in the instant hires. Like, you're beating around the bush and you know you're gonna hire me just to wait for a new qualified candidate. What happened? Like, you waited a week. You know, I'm gonna text her back in a week, and then she finds somebody else. You know,
that does happen. That does happen, man.
So that's what happens to managers too. Because I'm trying to get back into the tech world, and I'm learning a lot from the perspective of the recruiter, where sometimes they might do that. They might just let go someone so qualified so they could look for someone better, and they just can't find anybody to hire, and then they have to kind of hire someone on the lower totem pole.
Yeah, that's the relationship 80-20 rule. Here you are with this 80, you know, and then you prolong it, thinking you're gonna get something better, then you end up with a 20. Look at Tyler Perry teaching me something.
80-20. Where is that from?
That was from Why Did I Get Married? That was when
I never watched either of those two.
Oh, that was when the bald dude started dissing his wife, who was Jill Scott. Oh yeah, that's true. They are all bald. That didn't help then. The dark-skinned dude was being crappy to his wife, who was Jill Scott, mind you, and cheated on Jill Scott with this 20.
Gotcha.
But anyways, man, how have you been doing, Bastion? I haven't seen you in a week. You're in LA. It's Haitian Flag Day. I don't know if you zoning out there. Do they allow you to do that? I know your flag is red and blue. So I don't know how LA handles that. Do their minds explode? They're like, oh, shoot.
No, it's a Haitian flag. They're not. I'm not really out here like that.
Still?
So it's not the same energy as in, like, you can walk outside in Queens and Brooklyn and you peep it immediately, because that's where everybody's at. But I'm definitely not in an area where there's a lot of Caribbean people. I think I described my area as more of a tech savvy / student life area that I'm in right now.
Yes, you
so
did.
That's the type of people I'm surrounded by. So even when I go outside and walk around for like 3 miles, I still wouldn't see anything. I will have to go in like deep outside, like where I'm currently. And today is like the podcast day, the radio day, so I gotta stay home and focus
That is fair.
and build up. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
And then we're gonna come back and talk about what happened in Buffalo. We're just gonna kind of analyze it a little bit different than we normally do because there's always shooting. Gio, what would you like to do?
Real quick, we're just gonna play a little word from our sponsor, and then we're gonna go straight into one of the first songs of the week. Right, Bastion?
Yep, sounds good. Play some Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
We'll be right back. Tune in. Stick around for Black Seinfeld, the show about nothing. Back to Black, Amy Winehouse, from her album Back to Black, one of my favorite albums of all time, R.I.P. Amy Winehouse. 10 years ago, man, she tragically passed away. She made it part of the 27 Club. Bastion, you got a week and a half left until you're 28. I got a couple months to go.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. All right. While we're doing it, I was working on the Rubik's Cube. You could see Gio through the camera. I finished it on time. All right. I thought it was like an ad for WBAI, and you're out here playing something from Atlanta, the TV show.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't tell you it's the Reinvest in Your Hood campaign is because I knew it automatically how you would feel about that. So I threw you a curveball and said this is a PSA from BAI. So and your face
I
was
thought
priceless.
it was something serious.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, oh, we got to do something. Get some money in.
Absolutely not. It's just me just messing around, and your face was priceless.
Nah, that was a good trick. That got me. I did not expect that. I was really expecting because you play the commercial breaks for WBAI in the beginning before we start the show. So it must be one of those.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I remember the programming director Linda, like 2 weeks ago, she had me do some driver's PSA. So it was like buckle up because seat belts and safe driving saves lives. Don't drink. So I did a couple of PSAs for those. I don't know when she's going to use them, but I'm adding that to my resume of voice acting and things like that. So,
Liddy. All right, so let's get into the news of what the main conversation was this past week. In Buffalo, an 8-year-old white supremacist drove from Conklin, New York, all the way to Buffalo so he could go to a black, more I could say like a high black population area. And he went to a grocery store and shot 13 people, and 11 out of those 13 people were black. 10 of them were killed. And it's been on the news cycle since it happened. And just to quickly talk about like even the timeline, this 8-year-old recorded it live on Twitch, which reminds us about what happened in Australia, I think 3 years ago when they recorded it on Facebook when the person went to a mosque and shot a lot of people. And, the internet would just hold on to that video and it was just trend and it would be very, very difficult to take down. It's very gruesome. It is out there because even though Twitch did remove it 2 minutes into the stream, somebody was able to kind of clip it and take it. Hence, once it was on live, I think it was like live stream or something.
Yeah, he was live streaming it. Yeah.
No. After it was on Twitch, they took the clip because Twitch was able to shut it down 2 minutes into the stream because someone reported it because roughly 22 people were watching. And then once they removed it and they shut down the stream, it was actually unstreamable. And roughly 3 million people were able to look at that before it was removed. But then it was copied onto Facebook. Then when it was on Facebook, roughly 500 comments, 46,000 shares, and Facebook didn't remove it for 10 hours. Mm-hmm. So it is kind of painful because this is kind of how technology works. It does work in a way where when things trend, it does help you promote whatever you're trying to trend.
Exactly.
But if something like a violent act where people are getting killed by white supremacists, and the video and the footage spreads through different platforms, it's very, very difficult to take it down and handle it. So that's something, it happens every single day. Like I said, it happens every single day. Sometimes we don't know about these events because Facebook will try to do the due diligence and take it down. But something like this, it was on Twitter when I was trying to look for information about when the shooting was happening, and I, of course, try to skip those videos when it was happening. This story was very interesting to me because of the conversations that a lot of senators and congresspeople and politicians were talking about in terms of having critical race theory taught in the classroom, or even something as anti-racist discussions happening in the classroom, so people are more aware on different ideologies and different perspectives and how people live, especially because you don't want to live in this black and white world where you don't see race. It's like, no, like, this person is Asian, this person is black, this person is from this country, this person has his own culture and perspective that will be different from yours, and you have to know how to treat it respectfully. And they want to kind of like brush all that under the rug because they can, they assume that it's weird because kids are very smart. But they don't want to teach these kids these type of ideas at such an early age. Hence, we'll bring into something like this 18-year-old kid, which when this 18-year-old kid will learn all these perspectives and ideas at maybe 16 and 15, because he did write a 180-page manifesto online, learning it from 4chan and learning different white supremacist stuff and the concept of white replacement theory, which is all just, nonsensical white supremacist speech. And there is no one to, stop him or even have conversation, because even in this manifesto, I read in other reports, they said that he only learned it online and had discussions online. So when you have this type of mindset, of course, they're going to do something like this violent act where they will go out of their way to a black neighborhood and shoot black people. It's disgusting. It's terrible to see. And it is a cause and effect. Because if you're trying to remove this sort of basic standard, just conversation education, where people could have discussions, especially at a young, early age, I do believe it should start in a household, but some of these parents are not good.
Yeah.
You have two parents at home. Both parents at home doesn't mean they'll be able to give you the right perspective. Some kids see completely different ideologies from their parent, or sometimes they will have to just copy and paste because that's all they know. That's the only person they talk to.
Or sometimes they kill their parents because they can't play with their Xbox.
It just gets weird and violent just like that. This one was very interesting. We normally don't discuss any type of shootings that happen by Black Seinfeld because it just happens so often, and it's just, we don't want to be this type of show where we're just constantly talking about shooting, because it does get repetitive in the conversation. But like I said, I want to talk about this one particular because of how these politicians are pushing away from CRT, which isn't a real thing, but because of the vague language, they want to remove any type of anti-racist conversation within the classroom.
And not for nothing, also, Bastion, it's always a case of a lot of these politicians not wanting to address the issue at hand. They always want to skate around it. I'm telling you, these white politicians, they are great at skating around the issue at hand. It's not a gun issue, it's a mental health issue. As always, even though his AR-15 had the word nigger and all that racist rhetoric on the damn gun itself, but no, it's a mental health issue, and of course he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. They're going down the insanity route once again. So
I didn't see that. Okay.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cut and dry right here. It's pretty textbook stuff
This is, in my opinion, really cut and dry for a police. They can't even ignore saying this is a hate crime. Like, the police officers on the scene saying, like, yeah, it's going to look like a hate crime immediately, which is rare because sometimes they say we're going to look into it. But like, once they saw, like, as you said, the wording on the assault rifle, and once they connected it with the 180-page manifesto, it's like, this is straight up a hate crime. So, and it's looking like life in prison. That's kind of immediately. So yeah.
Once the news outlets were talking about the manifesto and how he became radicalized, I immediately like, oh, he probably got this stuff from 4chan. And immediately they were like, 4chan. I'm like, look at me. See, I'm good at this stuff at this point. Sorry to react in this way. Of course, my heart goes out to all the families, to the deceased. Unfortunately,
these are all older people, like over the age
exactly.
of 50.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday, one of them, just quickly talk about one person. He was a security guard, a retired police officer that was just there, because he was tired of being retired. So he was just a security officer, and he did try his best to stop him, but in the real world, not everybody's Jack Bauer, so you can't just come out and it's like, oh, if this person had a gun, they'll be able to stop this person. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if it's an automatic rifle too.
Yeah. So this person had assault rifle, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing. Yeah. The person had an assault rifle, and
that's a war weapon,
Yeah, I just thought this whole situation's messed up, and this is the conversation. Like, you could use this conversation to like really, really push, like, where this 18-year-old teenager got this weapon, right? Mm-hmm. Where did this person? I won't use like the newsroom concepts where they see like an 18-year-old black kid and call him 18-year-old man. It's like, no, you're like 18, you're still a teenager. Same thing if you're a 19-year-old teenager. So, like, where would this person buy the gun? Like, do they check?
Easy accessibility, man.
Accessibility. Then also about like the conversations that happen online in these certain platforms. Like, these are really, really bad platforms out there. Same thing you can say for Reddit. Like, Reddit still has its issues and problems, but it does have this community, which try to kind of fight on top of each other, but it's not as violent and bad as, of course, using 4chan.
Yeah, definitely. And I think of course it's a tragedy, but also the fact that it's a wholesome day like Sunday, where people are starting to begin their week off, preparing for the new week, going to the grocery stores, stuff like that. I think because it's something that we all relate to. A lot of people use the weekend to go to the grocery store to pick out things for their families. I know that there's this one person in particular. He went to go buy a cake for his son because it was his third birthday.
3-year-old son. Yeah,
and that's got to be tough.
See, that's what I mean. It's like we the people, we understand the terms of like safetyness. You're going to a grocery store, that should be like that's pretty safe,
right?
A local grocery store at best.
Exactly.
Because I think the last time, is it El Paso shooter when he went to. I might get my information wrong, when he went to like a Walmart because he was looking for Mexican people, and he did almost the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Was it the El Paso shooter?
I'll check that. I'll look at it.
So they're just going out their way into areas that's a higher population of people of color, and it's really disturbing. It's really disturbing to see.
Yep, it was a far right gunman, killed 23 people. Yes, you are right, Bastion. Back in 2019. Damn, 2019.
Yeah, so like some of these things just really stick in your head. Like I said, it's like they were shooting every other week. There was a shooting in LA, but they said it was like between two crowds of people. I didn't really follow up on that story.
Oh no, it was. I was referring to the one in LA where it was in a church, and it was a Chinese old man who shot up a Taiwanese church. I don't know if you saw that, but they were talking about that here in New York.
Okay. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and he tried to pin up the door so people won't go, and so he started shooting up the church. It was sad.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, like I said, we have this conversation, I feel like, every single day. There's always something like this, and can it be prevented? Yes, of course. Will politicians do anything about it? No. Will we just get prayers online? That's pretty much what we're getting, and I like prayers to the family of the people that were killed in the event. But this is pretty much all I could say. Like I said, we talk about this all the time. Gun control is basically what we need within this country, and also conversation within the classroom. Like, it is important.
Yes.
You know, you spend all this money on funding police, and police can't do anything about situations like this until it happens after the fact, right?
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, we're going to spend millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars on police officers for what? So they could stop something after the fact it happens? How's the security work?
Unfortunately, Bastion, and I was talking about this with someone, police officers, they don't prevent things from happening. They just respond to it. Unfortunately, I know like that sucks, but that's just how that is. And I just want to apologize to all the listeners out there. I don't want y'all to think that we sound defeated or anything. We just sound like this because we're at this point we're just desensitized to a lot of this stuff because it's it's just count by count numbers. We all know what's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. We all know what's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. We all know the topics at hand, what's gonna be discussed, gun control, all that stuff. But nothing's really gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah. They need like a whole shift in politics, especially that we have to lean towards the DNC, the Democratic Party, in order to push their constituents towards that direction to do something.
Yeah.
But then they don't want to lose those certain voters, the middle ground voters that are really focused on their guns, but they want to vote in a progressive way, fake progressive way, some sort of liberal way.
I gotcha.
So yeah, this is politics, people. This is politics. But I'll keep an eye on it. If anything comes up in terms of conversation, I'll definitely bring it back onto the show.
Definitely. Okay. I think that's all we have to say about that. Let's get into the next song of the week so we can liven up the mood here. Because I've been waiting for this for 5 years, damn it.
So, all right, so let's get into the next song. This is going to be Wu-Tang, 4-Chamber. Check it out. It's pretty much like the GZA song, but I just put Wu-Tang because everybody's in it.
It's fine. All right, got you. My bad.
You don't watch the video? You don't watch the cam?
No. See, here's like the thing, right? When I have like a switch, right, that makes me switch from back to forth to, different computer screens. So when I play the music, it's not on the screen where the Zoom is. So I'm on a different computer. So I was
trying to tell you to cut it out because I left something extra on it. I'm trying to skip it.
Oh, was that an extra beat, Bastion?
No, it was just something cut.
Oh, I was about to say.
Without describing everything.
My bad. I mean? Bastion. I was about to say Bastion making beats?
No.
Okay, fine.
That's why we don't pay attention. It's all good though.
I wasn't looking at. I can't just look at you and I can't do that, Bastion. That's not how this thing is set up. If we have 2 monitors, that'd be easier. But hey. I don't make this. I don't make the rules. I don't make the setups, man.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Technical difficulties, but don't worry, Gio. Take it away. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Oh, my gosh. Okay. It's been 1,855 days. If y'all don't know what that means, it's been 5 years, Bastion. 5 long years since Kendrick Lamar, K. Dot, 4 letters, King, Goats, the Messiah, has graced us with new music. If you don't want to count the Black Panther soundtrack, if you want to count just solo project, it's been 5 long years. 2017 with a damn. And 5 years later, we are finally back. But before we get to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, let's just go all the way back, Bastion. Let's go all the way back to last month. Let's go back to April real quick, okay, where I was sitting at work, minding my own business. I'm scrolling through the Instagram timeline, and I see something posted from Kendrick Lamar 24 seconds ago, and it was an announcement of a new project, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And I remember how excited I was. I remember everyone at work asking me if I was okay. What the heck's going on? And I told them, he's coming back, people. He's coming back. And I remember calling friends like you about the announcement that changed my life. King Kendrick is coming back. He's coming back to drop some new music. Friday the 13th, May 13th, 2022. This man was going to bless us with some new slaps. He said in 2021 with his cousins, New flows coming. Be patient, brother. And boy, were we freaking patient, Kendrick. And so, ever since that moment in April, I was just looking forward to this album coming out. I didn't know if we were going to get any singles leading up to this. I didn't know if he was going to drop any hints to what this album's going to be about, because Kendrick, he's really good at just shutting the hell up and just waiting for the music to come out so we can just digest and indulge. And that's what I thought we were going to do. I just thought we were going to wait till May the 13th and that would be it. But no. Oh, no. I was wrong. Because on Mother's Day, we were blessed, people. And it took Bastion to tell me, because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just in my bed, relaxing, enjoying the rest of my Sunday, preparing for Monday. And I get a message from Bastion. And he said, Kendrick Lamar, The Heart Part 5 on YouTube. And I'll never forget it. I clicked that video just to see if it was real. So I thought he was playing with me. And no, he was not playing with me. So I shut off my phone immediately, turned on the television, put YouTube on. I wanted the big screen. I wanted the big screen, damn it. The big screen. And then boom, The Heart Part 5. And Bastion, let's get into The Heart Part 5. Let's get into the video. Let's get into the song. Okay? The red background. Kendrick Lamar with his hair just, he didn't braid his hair. And Kendrick just thanking the fans for everything. And all of a sudden, he started rapping his ass off. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for 5 years. Now, mind you, this is important. This was nighttime, people, when he dropped this, here in New York, at least. It was nighttime. So I was in my bed, and I was kind of delirious, right? And all I heard Kendrick said was, look at what I've done for you, right? And his freaking face morphed into O.J. Simpson. Bruh, I thought I was tripping balls. I thought I was tweaking. Once I saw that, I rewind it just to make sure, my mind wasn't playing tricks on me. Because you know how sometimes your mind can play tricks on you late at night. It wasn't late at night, but just at night times, you think something's there when it's not, or you think a shadow, or you think like a shadow of your towel can be like some evil dog looking thing. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying, all right? Everything is not what it seems at night. So I just wanted to make sure. And lo and behold, I did this for my culture to let y'all know what a nigga look like in a bulletproof Rover, and he's rapping this like O.J. Simpson. And I'm like, holy crap. This is crazy. And he keeps on going. He keeps on going. And he says friends is bipolar. And all of a sudden his face shifts to Kanye West. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? What is going on here? And then I didn't think it would get any more crazy. But when Kendrick said the streets got me effed up, Juicy was on my screen, Bastion. Juicy Smollett. Juicy Smollett.
There you go.
Was on my screen, Bastion.
Jesse Smollett.
And I was confused. I'm like, what the hell is this? What am I watching, Kendrick? What am I watching? Then he turns back into himself. Then after that, he said, in a land where hurt people, forget calling it culture. Then we see Will Smith's face. I'm like, okay, all right. Okay, this song is crazy. This song is crazy already. The Marvin Gaye sample, crazy already.
Yeah, he was sampling the I Want You song by Marvin Gaye. Yes,
which is another W for Kendrick. Because I know a lot of people, there's a lot of artists that notoriously sample Marvin Gaye's music without asking, and their asses get sued. Robin Thicke.
The way I analyze this song in terms of the sample, it's like it's a kind of like a throwaway song too at the same time, where it's like he knows people's going to listen to it and just move on from it, due to his previous The Heart Part series, part 3, part 4, part 5. This is part 5. This is like the prelude to the album. And I'm kind of baffled that some people thought this was on the album. It's like, you must be new here, or you just maybe don't pay attention, because the art been here since I think the Dedication EP.
Yes,
that's the first time that the art part 1 was like the way the album started.
Right.
And I think part 2 was also on a separate project, if I recall.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, no, the art part 2 wasn't the overly dedicated.
Yes, it started
EP.
off with the hard part 2 and overly
part 1
dedicated.
was the Kendrick Lamar EP.
Yes.
So yeah, we K-Dot fans, we out here.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just cross analyzing this, and the first verse is when he's talking about the culture and his perspective. Then the second verse is when he's talking about the culture through the eyes of other people that he was face morphing through, in terms of OJ, Kanye, Jussie, and Will. And it was simple. He didn't try to overcomplicate it, because the first listen, you're mentally trying to grasp what he's saying. I think I understood it by the 6th, 7th listen, until he's just simplifying the idea of the culture through these people, other black figures within our lives. And OJ, starting with OJ, is very important. I think, like, we can't ignore, yes, it happened years ago when our parents were young and we didn't live through it, but there is a ripple effect on like what it is to be a black famous person. And you could either be black and go all the way to Republican and be like OJ, or you could be trying to be on your left game, or you could just be nothing and just be in the middle at all. So that OJ does signify something heavy within the culture. Then Kanye, who's pretty much in the same level as OJ at the time, maybe even higher, friends bipolar, grab you by your pockets. That's very interesting line to morph into Kanye. And then to Jussie, it's like, y'all can miss me, I want to represent for us. New Revolution was up and moving. It's like,
nah,
that was disrespectful in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't think we needed that. No, it's funny. Like, I love that it's there, but that hurt me. Just seeing that.
Yeah,
it's like gonna start a revolution. It's like, oh, come on, don't do that.
Stop it, Juicy.
Me and Gio went through so much discussing Juicy. Like, this situation happened for years.
Yeah,
we recently just spoke about it like a couple episodes
exactly
ago.
I got freaking ridiculed. All the ridicule we face, saying that was fake off rip.
It was just suspicious.
Exactly.
Then the Will Smith line was very interesting. So
of course.
Then we moved on to
the tearjerkers,
which was pretty much with Kobe and Nipsey, and he also analyzed. He rapped in Nipsey's words, like on the Dead Homies type vibe,
right?
Where he kind of like rapped through him, and it's interesting seeing how people perceived it, saying it's like, would Nipsey
actually feel this way?
And it's like, well, he and many people, like in the gang culture in LA, relatively understood Nipsey and what he meant, because we could listen to stories about Nipsey all day where if there was a situation that happened, he would be the first person to be there to settle it immediately. And the culture is also the person that killed him too, because you could do so much for the neighborhood. To die young when you accomplish so much, that's something he said in the song. It's something that he thinks about too, because you could do so much for the culture, and the culture will kind of turn your back on you at the same time, or something or an incident will happen to you, in terms of what happened to Kobe and what happened to Nipsey. So the third verse was very, very beautiful. Like I said, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense until listening to it 6, 7 times, and I think it's very telling.
Yes,
because usually when you listen to music, you kind of understand it the first listen, and then you're kind of good to go.
Right.
But and you could just grow with it, like Tyler Creator, his album that came out, first listen, you got it. All right, now I'm just gonna have fun with the album, and I did. It's a very fun, enjoyable album. Love it. But man, this song got me hyped up.
Yeah.
For the album,
absolutely,
which we're going to discuss.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's just straight up get into it. Gio, what is your first impressions? Make it short, make it sweet.
What was my first impression when I first listened to the album?
Yeah.
What am I listening to?
Yeah.
That was it. What the hell is this?
Okay.
That was legit it. I'm like, what the hell did I just listen to? I don't know if I like this. what the hell is he talking about?
Oh, you felt that way?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
What the hell is this? Because also you gotta keep in mind, right? Once this came out, I'm going to work, right? So
Yeah.
I use that time to like listen to a lot of like Roy Ayers. I listen to Solange. So like I'm meditating, right?
I gotta go back to my Solange grind.
Yeah.
I gotta go back. In the morning, I gotta go back.
Exactly. I'm listening to a lot of that stuff. So like I'm listening to just like feel good morning meditative music. Like it makes me, you know, happy for the day, make sure my aura is in line. So listening to Kendrick, listening to that album and how uneasy and how unsettling it is, and trying to like listening to the words and like just listening to the beats and
the beats, man.
I'm just like, what the is he doing? What is this crap? What is he doing? What the hell is this?
It felt like this like piggyback on your first impression, because I felt the same exact way.
Good.
A little bit different because I am in LA, so I'm 3 hours behind. So it came out at 9 o'clock. You know, I'll put it on my Beats fits, because those are great for listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to it. I get to the end of the album, and I don't listen to it for 3 days.
Oh, please continue.
I don't listen to it for 3 days, maybe like 2.5 days. I just can't listen to it. It felt like I remember a while ago we saw the Fred Hampton movie.
Yes.
And you said you enjoyed it, but I don't think I could ever watch it again. That's how I felt about this. Like, cool. I don't know how I feel about this, but I don't think I can listen to this again. And I stayed away from it for 2 whole days. People were talking online. Whatever they said online didn't stick to me. It didn't matter, because how I felt at that time. So, you know, came out Friday. Then maybe like Sunday evening, I listened to the first 2 songs again. I said, all right, I'm going to come back to this Monday morning. And I'm going to listen to it all day. I'm going to listen to it, read the lyrics, and chill with it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. The first listen, I was not impressed. It was very difficult to understand what direction he was going. I guess I was more afraid that he could have been like super Hotep, because Kendrick has some Hotep lines, but it's like
he did.
It's like standard surface level Hotep that you could get away with. You know, I think regular leftist people will say similar things too. You know, I'm still on my 5% grind every now and then. You know me, because it's electronica all day.
He kind of disappointed me back in 2017 when he said he was an Israelite. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, does he understand? Like,
does he really understand what that means?
Black Israelite is, and it's kind of messed up to say that. It's like, yo, you sure you understand what you
right,
mean,
right? And that was one of my favorite tracks off that album too.
Outside in the streets, in the purple.
Exactly, yelling at white people. I mean, that's fine.
Okay, so now
Continue.
we could talk. Now we could say, okay, so now what's your? I'm listening to the album impression. Like,
okay.
you understand each track now. Now you'll be able to, like, you know, skip songs and go to your favorite song.
Okay.
What's that impression now? So you know what the album's about.
So similar to you, I only listened to it once Friday. Mm-hmm. I didn't listen to that crap until Saturday again, because I went out. I saw Zav
perform, yeah,
I saw Zav perform, Ola perform, and so we were just all hanging out and stuff. And I had no just wanting or desire to listen to it again, but I remember, you know, just listening again on Saturday and, you know, starting to digest. And so let's get into the fact where I finally have listened to this thing front and back. I've analyzed everything. And I gotta say, man, I gotta be honest. And this was me, like, I didn't go on Twitter at first. After my first listen, I didn't do any of that. After I finally understood the album, I started going on Twitter to see how people felt. My opinion, this man Kendrick, this man done did it again, dog. I'm not gonna. This nigga done did it again.
He's on the streak.
He's
5 for 5. Section 80 counts. All right, Section 80 is an amazing album. Okay.
This man done did it again, bruh. And
I was so upset.
I'm like,
when everything clicks, it's like, whoa, this song's fire. This song's fire.
Yes.
Like, yo, I hated N95. I hated N95.
You didn't like the COVID song?
I hated N95. Guess what? I love that song.
You out of pocket, man.
Take off the foo-foo.
You out of pocket.
You know, that's like, it's so funny. I hated Die Hard too.
You did?
I hated that. I really hated the first half. I'm talking about off the first listen.
Okay, off the first. Okay.
It's just sonically, it's like the beats don't make sense. Everything's a little disgusting, right?
Yes.
And I'm just like, did he make a one listen to album? Because this is what it feels like.
Right.
But that's not how music works. Like your original emotions, especially watching movies. And we discussed this before. We have that scar, Star Wars Episode 8, how we felt when we first listened to it. When we first watched it.
Yeah.
And our opinions and how it shifted within 3 weeks.
Yeah, because I saw it again. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I don't like this. I don't like this.
So your first initial emotions is not real. You know? It's like after you lived with it and consumed it again and again and again, then you pick and choose. Right? Are there songs in this album that I would skip? Yeah. Are there songs in this album that I want to listen to again and again and again? Yes. I'm like obsessed with a lot of songs in this album. And let's jump into it.
Let's get into it. Let's get into disc 1 because I know I've been talking to people a lot and they tell me that they don't really like disc 1. And I feel the exact opposite. I love disc 1 because you need disc 1 in order to get disc 2 because disc 1 is basically Kendrick letting us know like, okay, listen, this is what I've been going through for the past 5 years. I've been cheating on my wife. I'm like, whoa, okay, what? Like, wait, Kendrick, you? Yes, I've been smashing white bitches. That is what he's been saying. I'm like, Kendrick, what the hell? Not you, Kendrick. Not you. Not you. It was like, et tu, Brute? Et tu, K-Dot?
It's kind of crazy because he starts the album with this quick word for word flow on pianos that switch to like straight boom bap drums.
Right.
Like this is like the boom is baps, type drums you haven't heard in a while. Maybe like some late 80s, something. But cleaner. And I'm like, I grieve different. It's like, oh, okay. This is getting very emotional. First listen is fire still. The first track is still fire. Yeah. Every other song after that is very suspicious. Yep. But the first listen, once you digest it, United in Grief, it's a very cohesive song talking about his past, talking about what is currently happening, and giving us a perspective of what the album will lead to later on. So I grieve different. It kind of goes back to Damn too, in a way. I feel like the first track is more connected to Damn than it is for the rest of the album. And just to see like it's going to be an explanation of growth, or I'm still trying to understand stuff. Right. Because Damn was very precise, in my opinion. Damn aged well compared to when we first listened to it. I said that I think a couple of weeks ago. I could listen to the entire album straight with no problem. And this one is like, in my opinion, this is the bridge from the last album into this one.
Yeah. I can definitely see that because especially the first disc is really Kendrick actually going in deep, like just peeling back the layers of who he is as a person. And he's letting all the listeners know, hey, this is what's been going on in my life. I have all this trauma. I'm not
2 kids.
I have 2 kids now. I have all this trauma that I've been in therapy and I've been like peeling back all the trauma that I've been through, such as, hey, I had daddy issues. Hey, I've been cheating on my longtime girlfriend / wife / best friend. Hey, I'm not a good person. This is how I deal with this. I pop the pain away. Like I'm taking drugs. Like I'm doing all this. And I'm like, damn, Kendrick.
I think there's something important that you don't want to leave is Eckhart Tolle is sprinkled throughout the entire album. Now, just in case you don't know who Eckhart Tolle is, he's a German-born spiritual leader, and he created a lot of self-help books. But I always tell people, hey, I read a lot of self-help books. All of them are garbage except for one, and it's The Power of Now. And that's the only one I ever recommend to people. And for the author to be on this album, it's like, all right, Kendrick read this book too, and he gets it. I read a lot of self-help books, really? I'm a business major. You read all these capitalist books everywhere.
That's fair.
But The Power of Now is the only book I recommend to people. I actually own it physically. Eckhart Tolle. So it's letting people know, I'm anti-capitalist, but that's the only book you make you open yourself up emotionally and make you understand it's like why you are, or why you're so attracted to the pain body, which is something Kendrick also talks about within the album as well.
Right.
So yeah,
exactly.
I thought that was cool. I wonder if he met him, and that's why he was able to get those sound bites, because of like Mr. Duckworth, like he said that. So very interesting. A lot of people also peeped that too. A lot of people, like leftist people, I was surprised that actually know who he is and read his stuff too. We're pretty happy to see him on the album. Just wanted to drop that for the people.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But yeah, also, yeah, you're basically learning about Kendrick Duckworth, Kendrick the man. A lot of Kendrick's albums are conceptual, right? But you never really hear much about Kendrick the person. You hear about, sure, Good Kid, Mad City is about, a kid going through just the inner cities of Compton and stuff. To Me, To Pimp a Butterfly is, hey, what happens when this kid comes back home after like being well traveled and exploring the world and being this famous rapper, and here's
how we're gonna start the revolution.
Right, here. Exactly. Damned is like, okay, I'm not feeling that good. But we're only scratching the surface about it. But hey, I still have faith in us. And then disc 1 is like, bruh, I'm completely up right now, and I don't know who I am right now, and I desperately need help. And hearing his wife go, "No, tell the people what you've been doing, Kendrick." Like, that was crazy. Yeah. That was crazy to me, because like she knew, and that's also good too, because a lot of people were like, yo, I would want something like what Kendrick and Whitney have, or back when before the big slap and before everything just like went away, J. Cole's famous line was, "I want that real love, dark-skinned Aunt Viv love, that Jada and that Will love." And so Kendrick, like, being bold enough to like be like, yeah, it wasn't all, it's not all sunshines and roses and daisies. I thought it was incredible of him to do that. And I think the reason why the beats were so uneasy and the beats were so unsettling in a lot of these tracks is because the topics here is uneasy and it's unsettling and it's very traumatic. So the experience that you're getting, it's not supposed to be a fun experience. Like, I know,
none of these songs. Maybe like one song is a fun experience.
The COVID song is cool. I love that. But even the Father Time song with Sampha, I love Sampha. I love hearing his voice. This is a up song.
All right, so let's analyze it real quick.
Please.
So N95 is a beautiful track, very interesting track.
I call it the COVID track.
Not taking off the mask per se, but taking off like your facades, right? Like, take off the foo-foo, take off the clout chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white lies. That's how he starts off the song. And later in the song, it's like, let me think about this for a second. Tell me, what would you do for an aesthetic? Tell me, what would you do? Would you sell your soul on credit? Would you sell your bro for leverage? And the sell your bro for leverage does feel like a Judas or snitching line as well. It's like, what would you do for yourself? So it is like kind of like everybody has this surface face, and that could be like the N95 that you take it off because you're faking some of the time. Sometimes. So calling it N95 is actually an amazing concept, and has nothing to do with anti-vax. I think wholeheartedly by the time you get to the end of the album, it's like, okay, he's for the vaccine, he's for wearing the mask, because there's a lot of lines throughout the album. And it's funny because I am against COVID lines. I'm not a fan of COVID lines, but this was done very well, where I'm not even hating. Then after that, we have the worldwide steppers, where this is where you kind of be introduced to Kodak Black. Then you get this like very harsh song about Kendrick Lamar, and that's where he talks about messing with white women,
his addiction,
his addiction and stuff with sex addiction as being a celebrity, which a lot of celebrities go through it.
Of course.
If you want to watch the more recent Chris Rock sketch show, he pretty much discussed at the same time. And the thing about Kodak Black, it does leave like kind of like a black mark on the album in terms of its imperfection. And
I've seen that.
We'll go to that later. Die Hard beautiful song in my opinion. Like I said,
featuring
hated
a
that
blast.
First. It's a great love song in my opinion. In terms of like, it's a long song about putting your emotions and trust onto a partner and hoping for the best for them as well. So it's like we could succeed, but I also like I may rely on you on a emotional level.
Yes.
Yeah. Then Father Time with Sanfa. Where do you find Sanfa?
Yeah, where the hell's Sanfa been? The last time I saw Sanfa was at Afropunk 2018. That was the last time I ever heard of Sanfa again and saw him.
Like where he been? So Sanfa came, killed the track. Kendrick Lamar talking about father issues, and it's very interesting because in correlation of hip hop and music, most songs do have discussions about not having a father, but he has a father,
right?
And his father talks about being like masculine, like he's been out here taking like in Kendrick's words, like taking the charge, and he's like his dad telling him like to stand up for yourself, but sometimes he's just a regular person, and that's kind of what it is about men and father issues. It's like when Kanye, also another thing, when Kanye got back with Drake, I was slightly confused. Guess I'm not as mature as I think. I got some healing to do.
It's like, hey, Kendrick's still a real nigga. I respect it, Kendrick. I respect it.
And I was baffled that he said that. That threw me off the first listen. I was like, I guess that would make sense for you because of your beef with Drake, or your Drake beef with you,
Yes.
And he was just confused. Like, how could Kanye go back to Drake after everything that happened? He may even know more things.
And Kendrick's love for Kanye too, mind you.
Exactly. Like, you respect him as an artist. Like, he gets it.
And they're Geminis, so I get it.
Yeah. All right. So now we could go and talk about the first interlude, which is a spoken word by Kodak Black.
Yes.
And talking about being hood and the decisions and growing up with and making horrible decisions and stuff. Now, the discussion online, and I'm also a part of that discussion as well. Every time we talk about Kodak Black on the show, I always say he does have a lot of sexual assault allegations. He did plead guilty to sexually assaulting somebody and having a rape charge. But the problem with Kodak Black is he doesn't say anything about it. It's like if you have a blemish and you don't bring it up in conversation, it's like you're trying to hide it away. And that's kind of what makes it a problem in this album, because everywhere where Kodak Black is sprinkled, he does have a perspective. He does play his part very well within the album, but you can't ignore the character of him outside the album and what he did. And it's not like Kodak is reflecting on what he does on the album, and it doesn't look like he will, because he doesn't do that in real life either. The way he tweets, the way he's on Instagram, the way he's outside in public. Give it to his man, my Haitian brother. He is very talented down in Florida. He is super popular where he's at.
Yes.
I still hold him liable for the actions that he's done.
As you should.
I always talk about it on the radio, talk about his previous albums. I still think he's very talented.
Absolutely.
And he has a lot of growth to do, but the way Kendrick is using him in this album is like a 50-50. It makes sense, but also doesn't make sense, because when you get to the end of the album, part 2 is a lot more about trauma. The trauma that his mom and he faced later on, when we get to the discussion and the album, is the trauma that Kodak Black is still giving, right?
That's interesting.
And another thing too, throughout the album, I think Kendrick probably made 2 or 3 R. Kelly references.
Yes, he did.
And he's like, all right, so Kendrick understands what a bad artist, great artist that does a lot of trauma to people is, right?
Right.
In the conversation, when we get to in a second, the back and forth.
Yeah, we're getting into
he says like, oh, you listen, like R. Kelly is bad, but you still listen to him, right? And it just brings this weirdness, because he's aware, but at the same time we're trying to understand why would he use Kodak Black when there could be like other people. Maybe 21 Savage will probably be a better situation. But Kodak Black, he's real. He's about that life.
I think the reason why he used Kodak, like, I think he explained it in a track. I think he said something on the lines of y'all want me like this way, but for me, like, I'm more like Kodak Black. Something like that. I forgot what track he said, but
no, I remember.
But he said that in the track, and I thought that was interesting. And I think the reason why he said he's more like Kodak Black, I think it's because of course, Kodak being the flawed person that he is, but also really talented. I think that's something that you can't deny from Kodak, whether you like him or not. Like the kid is talented. Like he got slaps. Like he actually says things in his music. But of course, he's not. The dude is a demon. Okay, let's keep it real. All right, the man's a gremlin. We heard the song. Okay, and I think people. I think Kendrick feels like people hold him to this high regard, and I think Kendrick sort of leaned into that earlier on his career. But I think the reason why he's saying he's more like Kodak Black, I think he's saying that to let the people know of how actually flawed he is. He isn't this like savior.
He is not your savior.
Exactly. He is not your savior as he once wanted you to believe, or as you thought he would be earlier on in the career. Hence the thorn crown in the album cover. That's why I think he did that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, Kodak plays the part correctly, and what your analysis on it is exactly what my analysis is on Kodak. But like I said, I do think it leaves a blemish because it's the type of person Kodak is outside of this album. But yeah,
that's fine.
It's pretty interesting, and I do like the conversation. But if you're having conversation with someone who's kind of skeptical about the situation, or just doesn't have any knowledge, or has discussions about things like sexual assault,
right?
Like they won't get it, which is difficult.
Yeah,
because you create an album, it's like it's not even difficult to understand or comprehend. Like this is pretty standard stuff, It's not like J. Cole. Oh, you gotta open your third eye to understand it. It's like no, it's pretty straightforward.
Right.
Like Kendrick explains the surface stuff that you need to get. Of course, there's like some underground stuff which you could dig in later on, but you get the idea. So he's not Lupe. Lupe is that you need like a team of people to understand. Lupe coming out with a new album soon in June. It's gonna be interesting. Let me continue.
Oh, we cry together.
No. Rich Spirit.
Oh yes, basically, that's the track where Kendrick is rich in being spiritually fulfilled, where he doesn't really care about yes, he's rich, of course, yes, he's wealthy, but he feels rich in having his family, knowing who he is, being in control in oneself, being self-fulfilled rather than materialistic.
Also, who's Sam Do? Because his like ad libs just perfect.
Yeah, I'm not sure who Sam Do is, but he did a good job.
I give this track a very Kid Cudi, dark, echoey type vibe. And Sam Do could be like, hey, if you use them correctly, it could be like your own personal Kid Cudi. But I thought Keem is that too. And we get the Keem because Keem is all over this album.
Absolutely.
All over.
As he should be.
He's like a higher pitch voice Kendrick because they flow so perfectly together.
Yes.
They match this, they're like Black Star, just in sync throughout the entire album, sprinkled here and there. Okay, now we could talk to We Cried Together.
Oh. That's one track I skip now. Like, all right.
Okay, great. I skipped that track.
Good.
One listen is good.
Yeah.
A lot of damage if you're on the man's side. She was saying some wild stuff.
Yeah. Basically,
if someone told me this, I'll lose.
Immediately. Basically, people, if you've seen Baby Boy, it's basically that relationship on a song. That's it.
She violated, man. She was saying some wild stuff.
Absolutely. But have you seen Baby Boy?
No, yeah, but she violated.
Okay, then.
She beat Kendrick.
Okay, then. Yeah,
she violated.
Basically, it's a toxic relationship. It's
couples dispute.
Black couples dispute.
Taylor Page, who played Zola.
What?
Yes. She's the actress that played Zola.
Oh, what? Okay, yeah. And she was also on that show, Issa Rae show. What's it called? Insecure. She was on Insecure as well.
Oh, she's on Insecure? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She was pregnant with Lawrence's kid.
Oh, her. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch the show. I only know through osmosis. Then we get to Purple Hearts. Purple Hearts is like, don't mess with my love, don't mess
Right.
with the love. What do you know about love? You don't know anything about love.
Exactly.
It's a great song. Summer Walker, great verse. Of course, the Ghostface Killer. To put Ghostface Killer on the album, amazing. It gives you this kind of. I mean, he's the best person for it. I do think as a hood rapper, he's not really gang. Yeah, I think he's a gangster rapper. He's done some stuff.
Yeah, he's done stuff.
He's done stuff.
I wouldn't call him a gangster rapper.
Or as a hood rapper, he does have a lot of great song ballads in terms of love.
Yes.
So to put him on this verse is just perfect. As Wu-Tang, I just love it. All right, now we could talk about Diss 2.
Yeah, and I think that
Count Me Out.
Huh?
The song called Count Me Out.
Oh, right. I just wanted to give like a brief synopsis of what I thought Disc 2 was first, like I did with Disc 1. Like I said before, you can't have Disc 2 without Disc 1 because Disc 1 talks about the trauma and all that stuff of a young Kendrick Lamar. And I think Disc 2 is him actually like realizing all the traumas and him actually becoming a better person because of it, and him actually choosing himself, his family, his sanity, really. And I think when we get to the end of the project, he's now like the humble guy. He's like, okay, I'm one with myself. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this for myself, my family, my children, and most of all, hey, I love you fans. I really do. But hey, I think being a family man is a lot cooler, and making sure my cousin's straight and making sure all my family is straight. And he feels this part right here, to me, it feels like he's more at peace with everything. It's basically like, all right, this is me coming out of therapy, realizing everything that that I've gone through, everything that I've done. People have forgiven me. We've talked about the hurt that I've caused. We've talked about the hurt that was brought on to me. And now I'm in a better place now, and I'm a dad, and I'm married, and that's what's important in life.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, he starts part 2 with Samdu.
Yep.
Eckhart Tolle, Whitney also talking. Session 10 breakthrough, and that's when he goes for like the longest first verse. And very he could rap. Yeah, and he has a great flow.
We
so
know
this is something
he can rap.
that he's able to do on his album, just kind of just show his flows. So the first song is great. Then we get into The Crown. And The Crown, like, I remember listening to it, and I just have a good understanding. It's being the king of rap, right? As the king, you can't please everybody.
Of course not.
And love is going to get you killed. And he also appreciates that he's loved. But, the song starts with, you walk around like everything is in control. Control verse, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm cross-analyzing a little bit too much.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So that's the way I look at it, because he still sees himself as the king, and he still sees himself as like the person that he's portrayed. Like, he's still, as you say, he's satisfied with life and stuff. But he's still deeply conflicted with what's inside, being the king, of course.
Keeping that crown.
Keeping the crown, Then Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Silent Hill probably
Kodak
is
Black.
My favorite song on the album. Yep, it's featuring Kodak Black and all.
There you go.
But I really hate that. It's like, when I'm
the nigga
my
good,
track
man.
list,
He
I'm
good.
Take out Kodak. No. Like, it's my favorite track on the album. The hook is my favorite. Like, it's like, it might be the banger. If you play on the radio, it will be the hit.
I've seen a lot of people blast that too.
It's my favorite song on the album. But then moving on, then we get this beautiful interlude, Savior, by his cousin Baby Keem.
That's right.
And it's like, this song is pretty much talking about the trauma of like what Baby's Keem has been going through, especially in like the family trauma, right?
Right.
They're talking about his mom, talking about his uncle, and also like, just being rich too.
Yeah, his mom being on drugs. I ain't know all that. Kendrick talked about that.
Yeah, it's like talk about his cousin and seeing her son make his first million.
Right.
I thought that was great. Then you get to Savior, which Kendrick Lamar, Kendrick made you think about it, but he's not your savior.
Right.
And without, I've seen a lot of people on the leftist community, because that's kind of like my Twitter bubble.
Okay.
And they will look at, and they did not like this song and him saying that, because it made him seem like
human.
I'm not a moral. I'm not some. What does Charles Barkley say? I'm not your
role model.
Role model, right?
Yeah.
I'm not your role model. But like, he's not inadvertently saying that per se within the context of the song. He's just trying to let the listener know.
Don't put me on this pedestal.
Like, at the end of the day, we still won't be your savior.
Right. I'm not who you think I am.
I'm not who you think.
I still fuck up. This is what this album is. I fuck up. And this is my favorite. This is my favorite track off the album, because he starts off with all that, then it blends into the CC. That started. I started bumping. I was rocking with that.
So in this song is what you were saying. It's like it when they pro-black, but I'm more Kodak black.
There you go. You go. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So
this is what he meant.
This is what Damn is, in my opinion. Damn was the album to tell everybody, it's like, yo, I'm like, I did the revolutionary album that people love. That's great, pro-black stuff, but I still want to make music.
Right. But see, he didn't really like get into that completely with Damn. No, he only scratched the surface. This is him actually being like, he's telling people what it is. I'm a nigga from Compton still. All right. Yeah. I'm still ignorant. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't let all that we gonna be all right stuff fool you. All right. I will shoot you. That's that Gemini thing, apparently, I guess.
Yeah. So the next track is the track that had the most discussions. I just want to briefly talk about like a lot of perspectives.
Yeah.
And understanding. I did talk about it with my friends, Auntie Diaries. This song is treated very differently depending on your understanding on trans issues and kind of the life of trans people as well.
Right.
And I did see a lot of arguments, and it was very interesting just reading, just being a bystander, reading conversation and a lot of cross analyzing this particular song, because he did a lot of interesting things, but he also did a lot of things that he shouldn't do, in terms of course, using the F word, that's a slur, and of course, like dead naming someone after they transitioned. So this song was very interesting to see the different type of perspectives, because he was talking about it on multiple angles, talking about it as when he was young, as a kid, and he was also talking about it when Kendrick got much older, and he was able to comprehend the situation that always still have love.
And as a rapper too, because he brought it back all the way at the end to something that a very infamous clip during a festival, which I thought was a nice little nod.
Yeah. So, like I said, this song is very, very interesting. Of course, I can't really speak on it per se. I haven't had enough time to sit on it and read more information on it. But I did see a lot of people have a lot of takes. I did read a couple articles as well on like what he should have done, if either he should have went at the song on a different angle, or at least cleaned it up a little bit better, where he isn't saying the F slur and dead naming. And maybe adding another trans artist on the song as well. I don't know, because I also saw people against that perspective too, because like, why are you using someone just like a token on a song as well? Right? Just so you could push your cishet ideology on the song, or your cishet perspective. So yeah, we could go all day with this.
The only question I have is, I wonder if Kendrick asked his family members first if he can make a song about this, and have them hear it and wonder what they think about it, because it's about them.
Yeah.
I mean, people are allowed to have what their opinions and allowed to say what they want, but it is a song about his family members and what they went through. So, I'm interested to hear what they think about it. That's all. That's it. That's honestly my genuine feeling. Y'all have the right to feel how you want, because again, I get what you call me, a hetero cisgendered male black man, so I don't know nothing about this. I just thought it was tight.
Yeah.
And very bold of Kendrick, because like he denounced everything about Damn, like religion and all that. He denounced that on this song immediately.
Yeah.
And he accepted his family members for who they are and all that stuff. So I think that was the general message of the song, but I also understand the perspectives of what he did wrong and how it could have been better. That's me.
Yeah.
That's politically correct.
Then you have Mr. Morale, which is pretty much like the thesis of the album, pretty much laid up a little bit near the end. And then it kind of transitions into a very interesting track that I didn't see much people talk about, which is Mother I Sober.
Yes, a song I will never listen to again like that as well.
Yeah, it's very deep. It's very detailed. I guess he is telling a very, very painful story about family members and his mom and stuff. And I do recommend you the listener to go check out and listen to that song. It's a very deep song. And of course, then the last track we have is Mirror, which Gio pretty much says, like, this is me. Like, the pressure is taking over me. It's beginning to loom. Better if I spare your feelings and tell you the truth. Lately, I've been redirected my point of view. So it's like, he can't live in the matrix. He's trying to change as a person, and he hopes that the listener understands. Like, I choose me. I'm sorry.
That's right, and he should choose himself. And I'm happy that he's done this, and I'm happy that he's grown as a man, grown as a father, grown as a spouse, as a lover, as a partner, as a family man. I'm happy for Kendrick. And I real quickly I wanted to say, Bastion, that you were right. You were completely right about this project because, and you wanted to know why, and I will tell you why. Mm-hmm. We had a discussion of what we wanted this album to be, right? And after listening to this album multiple times and seeing the discussion happen on Twitter, I can honestly say, A, this is Kendrick's most polarizing album. It's either you really like this album, you really don't like this album. It is not an easy listen. Like, it honestly challenges you stylistically because damn, it gave you a lot of hits, right? It gave you a lot of bangers. It gave you songs like, of course, Humble, DNA, Element, Loyalty featuring Rihanna, that stupid love song with Zakari that I still can't stand, but it was all over the radio. This was that was Kendrick's return to like radio friendly. It did over 600,000 copies, all that stuff. Humble had like 1 billion streams. This one right here, it's sort of like to Pimp a Butterfly, where it doesn't really have that many radio friendly hits. It's a lot harder. It's a lot stylistically. It's a lot harder for you to listen to. It's a lot. It takes a lot more to understand and to get. And you said something. You're like, yeah, I think Kendrick's gonna come out with like his own version of like a Yeezus maybe, or 808 and Heartbreak, and sort of challenge the listener and all that. And I'm like, huh, god damn it, Bastion called it. I don't know how he did that, and I hate it when he's right, but like, damn, okay, this is sort of like that. Not in a way where like it challenges, not in a way where it changes the landscape of music per se, but like where it challenges your ear.
And it challenges the audience.
It challenges the audience. Yeah.
And they did. And it worked. You know, what, 300, they're looking at 350,000 sales.
Yep.
I would like to buy the album if I could find the physical.
Oh yeah.
Right, just focused on tickets.
He just came out with some merch, and there's a physical CD. There's no vinyl yet, but he got the physical CD out right now. So
okay, just to quickly tell you like my theory. Of course, it kind of followed either the Kanye West theory, or you could follow like the track, the career trajectory, or you could follow what's the blind brother name again?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
The blind brother. What the heck, man?
Sorry, it just crossed. It's late out. It's getting late out here.
Fair.
Oh, Stevie Wonder on trajectory in terms of like where they're going artistically, because they could go very sonically pop heavy, where they're singing a happy birthday, or they could get very complex where you have no idea what the album is about. And I did think, damn, as a rapper, like the verse wise was very simple and very easy. compared to Pimp a Butterfly, which is more of the, jazz oriented live band action, and it's groovy, right?
Yes.
Good Kid, Mad City is something else.
Yes.
Section 80 is something else. But artistically, he's really blossomed after that, in terms of he has a lot of money to spend on like artists and production. So you have your live instrument, which is it could be your late registration in a way. Mm-hmm. And then you have your easy, simple going, which could be like your graduation or your My Dark Beautiful Twin Fantasy, which is Damn. And then you have this one, which could be your 808s and your Yeezus, mm-hmm. which is just complicated. But I feel like this is more like the life of Pablo, if anything. Like this,
I heard that too.
This could be just like all over the place, mm-hmm. somewhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yes.
Life of Pablo doesn't have a story; he just has a bunch of songs, but they're all great. So
that is
in
true.
This one, there is a story and it's fun. So
yeah.
I enjoyed it. The third and fifth listen, did not like it the first listen.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I listening to right now, Kendrick? What is this?
But I will make my own track list version of it because, respectfully for Kendrick, it's not really so permanent where you have to listen to the song right next to each other.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
But I think I can move it. For Damn, though, you have to listen to it. And for The Pimp a Butterfly, it's very important to listen to it, the track list wise.
In full, absolutely.
In full. Actually, all Kendrick Lamar's album, because there's a storyteller and narrator through it.
That's true.
But this one's like the big stepper. Like, I'm grown enough to push it around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I felt about Donda. It's like, yeah, cool. There's no real track list. I'll just do whatever I want.
Oh, of course. What? That's immediately what I done after I listened to the full hour and 40-something minute movie thing. Yeah, I cut it up immediately. Like, I'm not doing this again. Yay.
I did end the album with the Andre 3000 song.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, originally it was the sample with Lauryn Hill.
Right.
But,
okay. Fair.
So we had a good discussion.
This was a great episode. I knew this was going to happen. I'm happy we did this. God damn it, Kendrick. You done did it again, man. You done did it again.
Hey, listeners, you heard us talk about Kendrick Lamar for the past hour. Please email us or, DM us on Instagram on Black Seinfeld NY. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you agree with our opinions. Tell us if you have more things that you analyzed and you understood. Feel free to reach out to us on our email account, blackseinfeldny@gmail.com, and our social medias, Black Seinfeld NY on Twitter and Instagram. Absolutely. We also have our website, blackseinfeld.com, and feel free to listen to our older episodes. Just type in any type of podcast, it's Black Space Seinfeld, and you'll be able to see our previous stuff.
Yeah, we'll see you all again next week. We'll be back doing what we do best. Make sure y'all wish Bastion a happy birthday because, next week is not his birthday yet, but that's going to be like the last week in May already. That's crazy.
The birthday energy. This is the Gemini season, as you said.
Yeah, it's coming up soon.
Lamar is a Gemini too, so.
Exactly. That's right.
Duality of man.
That's right. We're going to go out to Die Hard, but I just want to also say really quick, if y'all have any different opinions on this album, because I've been hearing that a lot as of late, because I've been hearing, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, please let me know. Like, what the hell did you think this album was going to be, or what did you want it to be? Because I'm curious to know. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you again, Bastion. We're going out to Kendrick Lamar, Die Hard. Take care. Peace.